Hi everybody, it's Nell Thames, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Northeast Texas, and this is my Facebook Live. You can also find me at Stamp with Nell. Today we are going to make this Valentine's Day card, and this card is on my blog. Whoa, we are really out of focus. This card is on my blog today, and I did notice actually as I was putting my presentation tonight together that I missed a cut on the instructions, so I will go ahead and correct that for you for now. But for now, we're just going to do this. This is the card, and it's still out of focus, honey. Or does it get better? My husband David is with me. He is my tech person. I couldn't get my card open. This is the inside of the card. We're going to do our own embossing. I had originally planned to use a different paper and then realized the one I had chosen was retired. So, and then this is the envelope, which just has a full heart stamp. It's a little bit long for this, but I went ahead and did that on the bottom. And here is the envelope here. So we are really crooked. I'm sorry about that. That makes me crazy when I see crooked paper. So, all right, we are going to use the Country Bouquet stamp set and the Country Bouquet punch. Both are very beautiful. And then we're going to use the, we're going to heat emboss and use a embossing folder. We're going to use this dot one. This is part of the Basics 3D. It comes with, well, I have them marked 1, 2, and 3, but just randomly. There are either stars or starfish. Hi, Mary. Thanks for coming. We happen to use the same embossing folders this week, Mary. That was interesting. And then the dots and the crosshatch. So those are the 3 that come in this. It's $30. It's a bargain. If you love basic embossing folders like I do, I think it's an absolutely must-have, which is why I bought it as soon as I could. So I have my cardstock all cut out already. We're hoping this week not to have any. Can you move the host code? Thank you. We're hoping not to have any focus issues, but if we do, we think we can figure them out. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to stamp the for the embossing. And so I have a scrap of real red and a couple of scraps. This one is we're not going to emboss. We're going to emboss these navy ones. We're going to heat emboss. We are going to use Versamark ink, and this is the little, we're going to use this stamp right here, this little flower. There we go. It is a great set of folders, Mary. I'm a huge embossing fan, though, you know that. And so, you know, anything that gives me 3, that makes me happy. And I really like the crosshatch one. So I'm just going to randomly stamp. No, I'm not. I'm going to turn this over. I got ahead of myself. So I swiped with the embossing buddy to remove any stray anythings, static, lint, I don't know. Who knows what could be on there. And I'm going to randomly, meaning I'm going to turn my stamp. You could also turn your card, stamp this way. Now, I'm going to put this aside for just a minute because we have other things that we're going to emboss. So these I did not as randomly on my actual card as I would have liked. You could also turn the paper. I just am turning the stamp because that's what's, oh, I didn't heat emboss. Oh, we're just going to go with it. I didn't swipe that one. It's a habit of mine. I do swipe it most of the time, but there are times when I forget. So here we are gonna swipe this one. We're going to use a different stamp. This one we're going to use the Happy Valentine's Day stamp. I'm using that navy glittered ribbon, and it is glittering all over. It's like a glitter party here. So last week we talked about, I had this little, I kept having random little hairs. I finally decided they were dog hairs because they were dark enough to be pixie dog hairs. All right, so I use the Embossing Editions toolkit. It comes with all of these things, not this, all of these things. And it's really handy. These are an absolute must when heat embossing because otherwise I feel like I burn my fingers. This is actually the brush that goes with it. I have another one that I tend to use that is a little bit more, it's now gotten so distorted that it's really no good to me in terms of for use with the, I'm sorry, put that on backwards. For use with the embossing folder. David, Amazon, turn off fan C. Sorry, I forgot to turn my fan off. David and I were just talking about that. So I'm just going to sprinkle this is gold embossing powder. I'm just going to sprinkle it on here. I do it twice and tap it off both times. Check for, thankfully, no random little gold pieces. I'm going to put that off to the side while I do this one. And I'm going to just grab this on an edge that I can see doesn't have Versamark on it. And I don't know if you can see, you probably can't. But you will see shortly that we're just going to, and this one I am not concerned if this one ends up with flecks of gold because it's just how it's going to work. Go ahead. Yeah, you're right. I do like, you know, I have one sheddy dog and one not sheddy dog. And although I gave them both a bath today and they both made a big mess in the tub. So, you know, I don't have a utility sink. That's the one thing that this house I really wish it had was a utility sink. So I'm just, and I do this twice. It's just my habit. If, you know, I feel like it gives me better coverage, but that's just my personal preference. You do not, you know, you do you and do it the way that you like or that way you were taught. So I'm going to dump this because I have a little bit of that on there. We will move this off to the side, far, far away. Bath shedding. Oh my gosh, Mary, it was horrible. We have like a sunken garbage tub. I have to get on a knee pad to do it, and oh, it's a mess. Which is why they don't get a bath very often because then I have to. I'm going to turn this on now. On level 2, because then I have to clean the tub, and it's a little unfortunate when I have to do that. All right, so we're going to make some melty goodness. Hopefully you can see what's happening here. Maybe, there we go, that might be better. And I'm just using level 2 or speed, I think it's, yeah, level 2. And I'm not holding it too close to the paper, but I am holding it close enough that the paper warms and not the paper rather, the embossing powder warms and turns this really pretty shiny gold. Now this particular stamp is a distinctive stamp, so I think, so it does have some texture to it. And originally I thought I had burned my, that's not working very well, embossing powder, but it's just the texture of the stamps, just the way it stamps. I think it's a distinctive stamp. Pretty sure I saw that somewhere. All right, and so this is the only problem with embossing a lot of things at the same time is that, you know, it's hard to, I'm afraid that you're not hearing what I'm saying, or I'm talking over myself. I'm sorry, David, what? Okay, good. See, and so then the more I do, the faster it goes because it's already nice and nice and warm. And I just love, oh, I'm sorry, you couldn't see that, but that was awesome. There we go. It was awesome. It went really fast. I believe we are done with that piece of equipment, so we'll put that away. And we'll put that over there. Oops, hold on, I missed this. I missed a corner, although we might not need it. I'm going to go ahead and go back to it. There we go. I've done that before where I thought I was done and then realized, no, I'm clearly not done. Okay, so this one looks good, and they all look good. All right, so now we are going to, I'm actually following the instructions today. I usually just go by memory, but I found that I kind of forget things sometimes, and I don't want to forget anything. So you can see that on this card, I stamped the background, and I stamped in real red with these teeny tiny little hearts. So we're going to do that with the teeny tiny little hearts. But to make it faster and easier, I put them together on the A block, and they actually fit together very nicely. So I'm going to just stamp and turn and stamp and turn And yes, we're going to do this all over the card. And I do actually just try to put uh, I try to not have the um, open one next to an open one. I just, it's not, I just tried, that's all, that was all I was trying to do, was not, just not have an open heart next to another open heart, which I've just done there. So, you know, it is what it is. So Mary, did you stick your hand in ink the other day? I missed the, I was watching the live, but I came in after the snafu. So I'm curious what happened. I should probably go watch the live again. Okay, this is going to be under the ribbon, so I'm not going to worry too much about the fact that that one didn't stamp well. It's because I was chatting and not. I did it again. Okay, sorry. I cannot chat. I must stamp. I cannot do two things at once. If I start singing, we're deaf. Whoops, see? And then I stamp the things just the way I didn't want them. Okay. So this could. Oh, hello. This could go for, there's always something falling here. It's all right, David, just leave it. It's just the heat gun. I put it on the garbage can top and it just fell over. Thank you. All right, I am not being very I'm not being very careful here. If you are careful and smart, this will not happen to you. Do not do what I do what I say. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I have gotten very lucky and not done that yet, but I know it's coming. So Mary re-inked the wrong ink, used the wrong color in her thing. Okay, so this is, well, wait, didn't somebody say you could like soak it out or something? Anyway, okay. Moving on. I'm going to have to go back and watch that whole discussion. All right, so I'm going to take a piece of, this is the Night of Navy and Gold glittered ribbon, and it is it is a 1/2 inch wide. So I'm going to take some Stampin' Seal, and I have seen a lot of people lately, and I'm sure I'm sure this works too. I have seen a lot of people use the not scoring tape, the tear and tape. And I think that's a good idea on this. It holds, because it also will hold it. I mean not as the, oh my gosh, that sounds like a bad idea. I would not, I might just buy a new one. I can imagine what my sink would look like if I rinse the whole thing out. You know, I think you've just created your own new color, and I would just go with it. You'd have to tell everybody to buy a new inker and a pad, and this is Mary Green. So, you know, that's what I would do. It's just, you could create your own what is going on here? I know that I used my my grid. Well, that's a little bit better, but not terribly better. All right, we're just gonna go with it. Okay, so this piece that I embossed, I see I left a little bit there. We are going to cut out 2 hearts. Already done. Oh, you rinsed it and it worked? Or you ordered a new one? We're going to cut out 2 hearts. And basically, the dimensions I gave you are basically 2 hearts side by side. If you have a scrap that you'd rather use, that would work just as well. And I am trying to, oh yeah, that's what I would have done. Lurky Lagoon. Yeah, that's what I would have done, was bought a new one. I just wouldn't have even fooled with it, because what an inky mess that would be. All right, so we're done with those 2. Now that's not what I wanted. So I need 2 Melon Mambo. I'm not even sure I told you what color this was. This one's Melon Mambo. And again, we're just cutting it it's a strip. I think I'm doing that off camera. It's a strip. And so we're just, there's a little bit of waste, but not too much. You can see that my leaf cuts out here, but I'd already cut that piece out. So, and these 2 we are going to emboss in the dots embossing folder in a minute. But before we do that, I am going to do the other I'm going to put these in a very obvious spot. When I can't find it, tell everyone, just tell me I put it in a very obvious spot. All right, so I use this Simply Scored to score my, and the real reason I use the Simply Scored instead of my actual score pad or my scoring was because I lost my, sorry, I'm thinking and talking at the same time. My thing came off, my little score for my trimmer. I have a tendency to kind of flip it at the end, and it flipped off on me, and I couldn't find it. David found it though, so I can go back to using that. But I really like the scoreboard, so I'm gonna put this in diagonally. I actually saw another team member do this on a card. I probably didn't do that quite right, but we'll just do it like this. Okay. Oh my gosh. There we go. And then one more time. And they don't have to match because one of these colors, I'm not sure which one, it wasn't the pink one, it was one of the blue ones, will not be seen when you actually put everything together and have your sentiment on. Although I think for this card, I'm going to move my sentiment over. After I did that, I thought, I kind of like the sentiment in a different spot. So now we have 2 hearts that have diagonal, there you go, you can see them, embossing in them from the scoreboard. And then we have the 2 hearts that have the heat embossing, heat embossing. And now I'm going to take these. I'm not going to do this on camera since it messed up the camera last time. I'm just going to run these through the on this embossing folder. I'm going to use the number 1 and number 4 plates for my large embossing machine. I think, if I can find them. So that would be this, look, it's upside down. But this big white one is number 1, and this gray one is number 4. And they're marked, and the instructions are right here. So, whoops, the instructions are right here. So you won't have to, you're not on your own in terms of figuring it out. So I'll be right back, and sing along if you will. Okay then. That nice big pop at the end means I'm done and all the way through. And so here we go. We'll just open these up. And they are very lovely and dotty. All right, so we have something on each one of our hearts. Okay, so we have this. And this is where we are going to build our flower. Did I tell you it was a flower? I think you saw the picture. I have a little bit of adhesive on the back, so I'm going to just put my silicone mat down to keep it from adhering to my grid. All right. So the way that I did it today, see those little glitters? It just adds extra little specials. Is I just laid them out with the opposite of each other. That's what I was saying. Yes, come to me words, come to me. And such. Yes. Unfortunately, that means I have 2 blue ones together, but they're different enough with their embossing that it's not so bad. So I don't necessarily need to, I don't need these edges to cross over. I just want them to meet in the center. But if they do cross over, it's not that big a deal. And this is a nice new glue. What does that mean? It means when it does come out, it's probably, see, it's going to spurt. So we will just, and I did not have any problems. Let's fix this little edge here, shall we? I think this is the one that I had trouble. Sometimes my hands do not work. There we go. All right, so there we go. I was saying that I did not, I don't know what. So a little bit of glue does you don't have to do a ton. I did not worry about putting it over the ribbon. It seems to, it holds the ribbon down pretty much. I didn't worry about the pink on the ribbon, but I did, actually, let's turn this one over. Let's put the other blue one on first because I know that I put my ribbon, or my pink ones, I adhered them so that they were over the blue, maybe just because they're the different color. Here we go with this. Dun, 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 dun. All right. So how's your weather? We are supposed to be in the 70s. It's been so cold. It was 37 degrees this morning, and we are supposed to be in the 70s. And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, this is just that kind of place. We are supposed to be in the 70s on middle of the week, Wednesday, which happens to be a day I'm going to be off. So isn't that helpful? All right, so that is that. I want to show you one other thing, even though I know it's completely off. Still a little bit blurry, sweetie. So I made this flower. This would be really cute, I think, on like a box or something, but it's basically this same idea, except only 4 petals. So petals here, and then another color, and then another color, and they're all flipped up with the, and I bet even inking the edges would make it a little bit darker and prettier. But I was looking for something with a little more dimension, but for this card, that's what I did. But then I was playing with that this afternoon. I thought I'd show you that one. All right, so we are going to trim this sentiment down using the paper trimmer to about, I think it's about 3/4 of an inch. So as I showed you last time, oh really? Yeah, for sure. I don't know. It was so cold this morning. I actually wore a coat to church. I mean, I'm from Chicago. That doesn't usually bother me, but the longer I've been in the South, the harder the weather changes are for me. All right, so that's that. And then, so all I did was line up the inside edge, my sentiment with this inside edge here. And then I cut so that it was straight. And then we are going to go to, where are we? Whoa, that is not 3/4 of an inch. That is a little bit much. I think I have this set at 3/4, but it might be 3/4 is probably too big. Let's just do it again. Let's just put the edge right here, and that'll be the size of our sentiment. And this one, I didn't do anything fancy on the edges. I just cut them off straight. Well, that won't work. You'll cut the H off right there. Okay. So here's our sentiment. We're going to use, I use mini glue dots on this one. You don't have to, but I happen to have, well, now I don't have any more. Oh, no. Oh, yes, I do. I happen to have some that I wanted to use up. And because I use the bigger ones more often, so I just thought I'd use the little ones on the back here. I was making something yesterday. Oh, Mary, I was making that Delicate Forest, the sympathy card. And I cut my dimensionals, my mini dimensionals, in quarters. Some of them, not all of them. And I am going to move this over a little bit more than I had it. I'm going to put it over here even because I did feel like my embossing kind of got lost in the other cards. So for this one, I'm just going to move it over. You can put it wherever you want. And then this navy blue, a Night of Navy matte, we're just going to glue to this because liquid glue is the best. So we're going to take our very, very new liquid glue and we're going to make a liquid glue pool and a design and a heart on the back side because, you know, it's a Valentine's Day card. Oops. See, I got all liquid gluey and now look what happened. Got it on the edge. That's what I get when I play with my glue. Should not play with your glue. You should be an adult at all times. Oh, jeez. See, this is going to go south very fast. Okay. That's exactly how I feel right now, Mary. Okay. So, that is that. And now I'm going to add some dimensionals. And since I have this in front of me, I'm just going to cut this up. That sound is so satisfying, this snip, snip, snip of well, those are kind of big. But it's just satisfying to have the snip, snip, snip of scissors over your dimensional edges because it means you're really getting stuff done. Oh, speaking of getting stuff done, I realized that I had actually used up already somehow. That's a lot of dimensionals. Um, and a whole pack of real red and a whole pack of Night of Navy in the 18-ish months that I've been stamping. And I realized that doesn't sound like a long time, but when you have so many colors to choose from, I think it's kind of a big deal to go through. I mean, white, of course, I went through very quickly, but things like red and navy, I love red, white, and blue, but I don't normally make my cards red, white, and blue. So, it's just satisfying to go through a color, especially, and not have to put it off to the side because it's retired before you could use it all. All right, so this is a very small border here. So there we go. One thing I forgot to include on my original card that I did put back on here were some little gold pearls. Now, I don't know, Mary, you might be able to answer this question. When I look these up, it says they're festive pearls, but my paper says red and green adhesive backed pearls. So I'm feeling like that was a printing mistake because I looked it up by number. So anyway, just little gold balls, just a little extra bling, if you will, a little extra bling. So I chose, because I'm always playing it safe and using white or vanilla, I chose to use Melon Mambo. You can still write on it. It's still, it's still going to show, assuming you use black, it's still going to show. So, use it. And I'm going to put this up here while I can. Sometimes I like to be a little straighter than, okay, that didn't work. Sometimes I just put it on the edge, and again, I know it doesn't seem like it, but I did take a little chance. Okay, that's what I thought. I think I think it's, yes, there are silver. So then it's festive pearls. So I get in a rut and I do things the same all the time. So that's why I made this a little bit wider and I moved it in from the edge, because it's, normally I would do a 1/2 inch and I would butt it up right up against the edge. And so we're just going out of the box today. Oh, there it is. Okay, looking for the Stampin' seal. Dun, 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 dun. And we're stamping, sealing, stamping, sealing. It's way easier to sing when there's no one except David here to hear me. I mean, I know Mary's here, but it's like nobody's standing in front of me. It's not like when I would sing a solo at church and not remember my actual notes. Yeah, David.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, I know. David would prefer that I remember my actual notes, because if I'm singing it's usually a duet. If I'm singing a duet, it's usually with him. And he has to, sorry. And he would have to adjust for my mistakes. So, all right. So this is the card. We have finished the actual card, and I like the pink interior. I think it goes with it. Internet singing is easy. Yes, it is. It's much easier than standing in front of an audience. Even of people that you love or like or tolerate, it's way easier to sing on the internet. Okay, so this is a 2-step stamp. This is the Country Bouquet. This one is leafy. Can you see? You might not be able to see the leaves. This one is the leaf one. Okay, you can't see it as well. Well, you can see this one because it's nice and pink, because I used it in Melon Mambo. This one is the flowers. And so basically, the way this works is you pick a color and stamp one. And now I have this kind of cockeyed on my D block because that's the way it fits best, in my opinion. But if you like it some other way, or if you want to use a larger block, then go ahead and do so. And so that's what it stamps. It just stamps, for this one, it just stamps the leaves. And then we'll close up this ink. And we'll go to the Melon Mambo. And we're going to stamp up now the flowers. And this is kind of a big one, so we don't want to add. So now this is where, oh, that's what happens. This is where I go wrong. We're going to blame that on the post office because I dropped it. So the idea is, okay, my head's not in there. You just want to get it in between the leaves. There is a definite way it goes. So see, you can't even see the drop. I have a tendency to do that. It's my hands. It has nothing to do with the little block. It's because there's a nice edge on these blocks. My hands don't always grip as well as I'd like them to. Okay, so that's that. And I like that. I think it's really pretty. It's I said in my blog it reminds me of Sealed with a Kiss, just because it's a full stamp on the back of the envelope. Kind of remember, well, I don't even remember, to be quite honest, but there was the days when you sealed with a with wax. I was reading the Bible this morning, and they were talking about Judah and his signet, and then they were talking about Joseph and his signet ring, and how they have to stamp with, or not stamp, seal with wax. So, all right, so that is the envelope. So again, that was the little hearts, the filled one and the edge one, and I had just left them on that block. And I just stamped them up and down here. When I go to put my address stamp, I still have room for it here. Since we've learned not to stamp over here, because Mary got some great information from a fellow stamper about not stamping on the right side of the envelope. All right, so this is it. This is the card. You can find it on my blog. It's stampwithnell.com. I can't even remember what my blog is called. And I will update the instructions to add that one Melon Mambo cut, and then I'll add this video to that. So if you don't already follow me on YouTube, please like and subscribe on YouTube. I will post my videos to YouTube after they finish on Facebook. So typically it's the same night. Last week I thought it had uploaded, and it did not. So it was a couple of days later, but I promised to add it to the proper blog. And if you like, subscribe, and set the notifications to all, you will get a notification every time I upload a video. If you prefer to watch on Facebook, we're still on Facebook Live every Sunday at 6 p.m. Central Time. And I just want to thank you for coming, and we'll see you next week. Have a great week.